Wait a moment. This isn't a furry visual novel. Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gamers. So if you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Heart of the Amethyst. So we're jumping right back into where we left off. So the main character, Ehlly, I think it's how you pronounce it, Ehlly. I think Ehlly was daydreaming, and well, not daydreaming. He was reliving his past, the horrific tragedy of his childhood, losing his mother and having strangers kidnap his baby sister and then try and murder him. So yeah, quite a lot to unpack there. But anyway, guys, let's jump right back into it. Please sit back and enjoy. Let me entertain you for the next 20 minutes, and let's jump right in. Change it up. Oh! Wow! Wow, that was wild. Okay, that was loud. Okay. I look back at the spot I was lying in. A little me shape has formed in the grass, proof that I've been sleeping there for quite a while. I then turned my gaze towards the impressive royal castle. I'm currently on the main road of the market district. The castle is standing beautifully in the distance. This path is quite important as it connects the higher part of the city, also known as the home of the jerks, with the lower part of it, also known as the poor nest. The royalty in their castle, a bunch of assholes if you ask me. Watch it, kid! Move out of the damn road! While being distracted, an old man bumps into me and curses me while doing so. Sorry! I say back, and he just huffs and leaves in a hurry. I don't blame him for being mean. The street isn't that big, and I'm just standing like an idiot looking at the castle. I take a last glance at him, and then turn around to begin walking alongside the others. The streets are crowded as per usual. This is the capital, after all. Looking around, you can see many people carrying heavy-looking bags. Most of them must be farmers trying to sell their goods. The land of us canines is very rich. Sadly, on the other hand, we have the shitty politics that pretty much makes it impossible to run a decent establishment in the city. So I would say the best option is to not be in the city. Any small village should do. Trust me on that one. You don't want to be stuck here more than necessary. What you doing? Stopped! My cabbages! I hear a scream, and upon closer inspection, I can see two guards taking it out on a middle-aged fella. They're dismantling his selling post. The poor dude probably didn't know that street selling is forbidden. He's most likely an outsider. No, please stop! He yells at the two of them as he tries to make them stop, but they don't flinch a bit. Instead, he's now on the ground with a bleeding nose because the guard hit him with his blade's handle. He has a certain accent that's confirming my theory that he's not from around here. I feel sorry for him, but there's nothing I can do. Dare I intervene, and I'll end up just like him or worse. It's more trouble than it's worth. Besides, we all learn to deal with the shitty guards. One way or another, this would happen eventually. Welcome to Yagnir. For a while, I decided to ignore them and to carry on. My mood ruined by that miserable display. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to Cyrodiil. It doesn't take me long to retrieve the old man's order of meat. We're running low on the stock, so I just had to pick up some. I paid 10 silver Andros coins for it. Andros coins? A little expensive, but meat has always been expensive. I always thought it was rather curious that the currency of a canine empire was called Andros. Like, it's obvious that it comes from Andrius, but whoever came up with that idea wasn't very creative. As I walk back, I don't see the cabbage dude anymore. He probably picked whatever he could and left. The guards most likely confiscated the cabbages. I can already picture the scene in my head. They're supposed to protect us all, but all they do is use their power to terrorize the people. Things have been in a very bad shape for the past 12 years. Those rich bastards do whatever they want at the expenses of the old and useless king, including creating a stupid law against street selling. Worthless pieces of scum. I sigh, noticing how useless it is for me to be getting this worked up. It's not like I can do anything about it. I'm lucky I wasn't here for the first 2 years of this. The old man talks about the many riots that started 12 years ago. Shit got ugly real fast, and now the guards have the authority to terrorize whomever they see fit, as it is royal decree. I decide to drop the topic and just keep walking. I'm not that far away from our shop. I'm back! Sorry for taking so long. That's really detailed. Ooh, I love those potions, too. I enter the shop and yell as hard as I can. He won't admit it, but he's clearly losing his hearing. Mr. Biscotti! Soon, Mr. Biscotti walks into the room. He's still the same good old Biscotti. He hasn't changed much these past years. The man is built like an ox, after all. It took you long enough, boy. Welcome back. He welcomes me with a warm smile. His clothes are a little dirty and dusty. He's been likely rearranging and cleaning up the shop, and most importantly, the back room. What's this music? What's this music? I like it. It fits. Alright. Could you bring what I asked this time, or will I be stacking weight instead of meat? The old man begins to laugh hysterically. Poor guy thinks he's funny. Yeah, that just happened once. Besides, potato, tomato, not really a difference. He raises his eyebrows as if expecting that I actually brought wheat. But as I place the bag of meat on the counter, he smiles back at me. I'm not that stupid, you know. I never said you were. Still, you're not denying it. He says nothing to that, which makes me wonder if he actually thinks I'm that dumb. Either way, I decided to take off my cloak and place it on top of my desk, which is quite the mess, I must say. What took you so long? You didn't run into any troubles, did you? I had to fight off 5 guards that were terrorizing a poor helpless man. I strike a heroic pose, trying to portray myself as some sort of savior. Really now? How come you're not injured? And because I'm a really good fighter. I shrug. Ehlly, what really happened? He puts on his fatherly face once again, clearly worried about my well-being. Why won't you believe my story? Because I've taught you better. I smile back at him, trying to ease his worries. Or if I could do a Sean Connery impersonation for him. Nah, I'm fine. I just took a little nap by the side of the road, no biggie. Yep, I'm gonna do a Sean Connery impersonation for him. If you need to take a nap, why not use your bed? Well, the grass looked fairly comfortable, don't blame me. And it did, but I guess I was wrong because now I have an aching pain in the lower half of my back. Whatever am I going to do with you, boy? You need to take the situation more seriously. What if you got... He stops on his tracks to find the right way to proceed with that sentence, but he gives it up eventually as there is no way to salvage that. This turned to be a really uncomfortable situation, and so I decided to cut him some slack and apologize. No need to get all worked up over something so silly. Look, I know what you're going to say, but I'll be fine. Sorry for worrying you. I'll try not to let it happen again. Mr. Biscotti. What's that? A coin. A gold coin! He smiles at that and walks towards me. I ready myself for a hug, opening my arms wide. Ah! But instead I receive a punch on the back that makes me jump in pain. What gives, old man? You seemed in pain. Just trying to help you. He mischievously smiles back at me as he takes the meat with him and locks himself up in the back room. I rub the place of the impact, trying to get rid of the pain. Shit, this will leave a bruise. Probably. Need anything else? No need, kiddo. Just do your own thing for the rest of the day. I smile at that. It's always a good thing to have time for myself, although, to be honest, there's not much to do. I don't have many friends, not anymore at least, and the stores look clean enough, so I don't have to do that. So what should I do? Read a book on the shelf, take a look at the old itinerary book, organize my desk. Alright, so be lazy and possibly learn something, take a look at the old itinerary book, be fucking bored, be productive. I'm gonna go with lazy. I think hard for a second, trying to figure out what to do. Books seem like a good activity, not the most entertaining one, but it'll make do. I take a look at the bookshelf, running my hand through all my options for this afternoon. We have a decent amount of books, and I've read most of them. Except for my biggest enemy. The world's encyclopedia. Why would you read an encyclopedia? I've never managed to finish this book. All the dates, facts, and important events just mix up in my head, making it hurt after 40 minutes of reading. Yeah, that's the thing about reading a book that's just full of nothing but just random knowledge. It starts to get jumbled up, and it starts to turn into white noise. You have to really commit to learning it to actually memorize all that shit. Give or take, depends on my mood. Well, maybe today will be the day. I might as well give this old thing a try. So I sit near the window, placing the heavy book on my lap. It has over 100 pages, and most of those are filled with dates and general knowledge. We're really lucky to have this sort of book. Most people don't see it, but knowledge is really important in this world. I sound like the old man already, but it's true. You learn to value it when you travel as much as we used to. Anyway, I'm getting off track. I need to focus or else I will never defeat this foe. The title reads Encyclopedia of the World, an extensive resume. Volume 2 by Callus XII, Grand Master of the Royal Library. Whoa, that's a mouthful if I haven't even started. Despite that, my will is strong today, so I pick a random section of the book and dive right in. After the goddesses created the world and the 3 races of it, 200 years passed before they decided to bless us with their magnificent gifts, which made the survival rate go up. Ironically enough, just 500 years after those were given, the divine plan backfired. The birds from the north decided to colonize the rest of the land, killing the neighboring tribes as they saw fit. This would situate us in the year 3700 prior to Andreas, approximately. The war was initiated with the invasion of the birds on feline territory. The felines, who by that time populated the plains of the east, were casted away, relegating them to the East Desert. The deadliest wasteland you can ever imagine. No crops can grow in such a place, and the water is quite scarce. If more information about the wasteland is needed, please check the flora and fauna section of this volume. The horrible condition that the felines found themselves in made them migrate further east, where they discovered the virgin island of Thanea, making it their new home. This process took over 1,000 years approximately. Even then, some feline tribes decided to stay in the continent and live in the desert, creating the first scavenger tribes, which we shall discuss in the following volumes. Tracing back to the bird conflict, as the felines migrated east, they continued their relentless expansion on the mountain section of the continent, setting their eyes on the south, seeking to cast away the canines as well. By that time, the canine tribes were quite scarce, so, against the growing empire of the birds, we didn't stand much of a chance. They killed thousands and enslaved even more. Luckily for us, the mountains and forests proved to be a safe haven, allowing a few to escape there. This status remained for over 1,200 years, meaning that by the time the felines had finally set in Thanea, the canines were being secluded to the icy mountains of the west. But this wouldn't last because, as the birds thought their victory was secured, a civil war ignited between two opposing political bands. More information will be presented in the following volumes. The canines used this opportunity to take the capital of the bird empire, burning it to the ground and freeing the comrades that were being held as slaves. This event took place in the year 1950, prior to Andreas. Gee, I'm gonna stop right there. So many dates, wars, and whatnot are making my head hurt a little. Although, that last date, if the Canine Empire technically started in the year 1950 prior to Andreas and we're currently sitting at the year 567 after Andreas, then that means that our society has over 2,500 years in the making. Which can seem like a lot, but considering that the whole continent was stuck at war for the first 2,000 years? Besides, there's one more thing. The fact that the apostle was never mentioned in any history book makes me curious. I don't know if my mom made that story up or if it just went lost with time, because pretty much nobody knows about the existence of the guy. And the church makes it look like Andreas was the sole savior of the world, and as he stopped the whole war by himself. Anyway, enough for today. What else is there to do? Oh, read the book from the shelf. Take a look at the old itinerary book. Okay. As I gaze towards the shop's counter, I can see my old itinerary book sitting by the side. The old man must have been looking at it while I was gone. Whoa, this really takes me back. I had totally forgotten that this thing existed. This is a diary Mr. Biscotti gave me for my first birthday with him. I used it to record all the trips we made after he adopted me. That was a few years back. We pretty much went everywhere. I opened the first page and read the way I named it as a child. Ultra-secret mission to find my sister and go back to the forest and be happy again, by Ehlly Biscotti. Oh wow, I really used to be a silly kid. This was the first time that I used his last name as my own, though. When I lived with Mom and Dad, we didn't have one, so Mr. Biscotti thought it would be a good thing to give me his. Gee, that old man has really done a lot of things for me, huh? I flipped through the pages. In them are described the many trips and plans we came up with trying to find Mary. We pretty much swept through the whole canine territory looking for her. There was no luck, though. Not a single person had heard about a young white vixen with purple marks on her body. We eventually stopped searching, as we had no more leads to where they could have taken her. The conclusion we reached was that she must be somewhere in the higher city, the only unreachable place for us. The memory of my little sister comes back to me at full speed. She's probably a teenager by now, as I haven't even seen her in 10 years. I haven't given up. I promise. I say to myself, trying not to think too hard on this. She's fine and I will find her no matter what. I continue checking the diary, tucking the final page between my fingers. There's a cute drawing of two wolves holding my little self by each of my hands. Oh. One is obviously the old man. The other? I miss you tons, Miss Biscotti. I'm sure he does too. I trace the drawing with my fingertips, remembering the good times. She died 2 years ago from an unknown disease. Ever since then, things have been complicated. We don't sell as much anymore, as it was her charisma that brought people in. Besides, Mr. Biscotti is not the best merchant because his math and selling skills are pretty bad. He's good at finding rare stuff, but when it comes to bargaining, He's lucky he has me, and I'm lucky that she taught me everything she knew. It's thanks to her that I actually know how to read and I have a decent education. Well, it's enough sappiness for one day. Heck, if she saw me like this, she would be the first one to hit me square in the head with a book. I'll wipe my tears away real quick, which makes the sadness slowly go away. Now it's my turn to take care of the old man. I need to be strong, for both of us. I won't let you down. I placed the diary back where I found it, ready to do something else. Well, what else is there to do? Organize my desk. Let's read the book. I think hard for a second, try to figure out what to do. The books seem like about most of them entertaining, but it'll make do. Oh, bookshelf right in my hand over the afternoon. I had books I read them, except for... Okay, so that's just a retread of that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and do organize my desk. Should I really do that now? I feel like it will make the rest of the afternoon I feel like it will take me the rest of the afternoon to finish up. I may be able to do something else first. Do it anyway? Yes, because I've already done everything else. This is by far my least favorite activity, but I may as well use the free time to sort out my mess. I sit on the chair, taking a look at the insides of the drawers. There's a bunch of old papers and receipts that I figure I should check before throwing them away. So as boring as it sounds, I must do this myself because the old man isn't the best at keeping track of numbers and money. So yeah, here we go. Fun times. Oh God. The afternoon goes by rather quickly. I just finished checking all the papers stuck in my desk. I wrote down all the important data and then threw away all the rest. I leaned back on the chair and sigh. This was supposed to be my free time. I ended up wasting it with work. Ooh, excuse me. I take a look outside. There's still a few stragglers finishing up their day. The sun is setting, filling up the room with a nice and melancholic orange light. You okay there, boy? Mr. Biscotti exits the back room. Looks like he's been polishing all the metal artifacts we own. Hopefully they'll sell soon. Yeah, sure. I just finished sorting out our money issues. We really need to sell some stuff if we don't want to starve next month. I stand up from the chair, reaching his eye level. Or trying to. I'm still on the lower side of the male population. I'll figure something out. Don't worry, kiddo. I raise my eyebrow, not really sure if I can trust this newfound confidence of his. Talking about sorting things out, your birthday's coming up next week. Anything special you want? Oh, I totally forgot. Is it really that time of the year? Whoa, I'm really getting old. I mean, I'm just turning 21 and I feel like I'm 40 already. I'm 31, you little boy. I wish I was 21 again. That'd be fucking nice. Anyway, I sigh, feeling the burden of the years suddenly weighing on my shoulders. Shut the fuck up! It's been 10 years since I left that forest. What have I really accomplished? By my book, I've just been a nuisance to the pair that took care of me. What's that long face for? Having second thoughts about becoming an adult? My ears perk up as I notice that I've just been staring into nothingness for a while. He must have read me like a book. The man is really good at that. Or maybe I'm just that easy to read. No, it's not that. I'm not sure if I really want a gift. You've given me so much, and it just seems a little unfair. A lie. He doesn't need to know my inner turmoils. It's better if I deal with them myself. Nonsense! You're my kid, and you'll have a gift. She'll make your mind soon, or else I'll pick it myself. It makes it sound like a bad thing, but to be honest, Mr. Biscotti is really good at making gifts. It's as if he knew exactly what I wanted just by looking at my face. I'll give it some thought. Thanks, old man. He pats my back and then climbs up the stairs to his room. His heavy footsteps make it sound like the wood will break, but this house has been around for generations, so I doubt that'll happen. I should hit the bed myself. I'm spent. I take a last glance at my desk. Everything seems in order. Except for... Buried among some old papers, which I must throw away tomorrow, there is an old rusty medal. I grab it, inspecting it. It's the old emblem that I ripped off from that bastard's cloak. It brings back memories. It brings back bad memories. That's why I stored it in the drawer. I don't like having it around, but it's true that this is the only lead that I have left as to where my little sis could be. I grip it harder, leaving the marks of the metal on my paws. Thinking about them makes my blood boil. To be honest, I don't know what this thing is or what the symbol means. No person that I've asked has given me answers. Maybe I should take it with me again, just in case. With that in mind, I store the emblem in my pocket. Then I blew out the candles and head to bed. Uh-oh. There's someone knocking at my window. It's so late at night. Okay, yes, I hear you. This better be good. Oh, hello there, cloaked figure, who seems to have a medallion. I open up the wooden window, taking a look outside. There I see a dark figure standing in the middle of the street. It's giving me a signal by reflecting beams of moonlight onto his dagger. A code that I know far too well. I sigh, knowing that I have no other option than to check what he wants. I know this idiot. He must need something. So I close the window, put on my cloak, and exit my room. I make sure to walk slowly, making the wood under my feet crack as least as possible. Oh, okay. I'm going to go ahead and pause right there. Yeah, guys, the noises you hear in the background are my cats running around the house chasing each other, so... being a bunch of little sillies. Yep, kitties, they are crepuscular. They do love, them nighttime hours. Closer to the morning. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!